We have details of these and more stories coming your way. We are live on DSTV, channel 279, also on Facebook at TV3 Ghana. The Supreme Court is expected to deliver its ruling on whether Parliament should be restrained from transmitting the anti-LGBTQ bill to the presidency. The two cases filed by researcher Amanda Odoi and journalist Richard Delasky urges the court to put all processes in relation to the bill on hold until the substantive case is determined. They believe Parliament lacks the power to pass the law that imposes financial implications on the Consolidated Fund. After intense public backlash and criticism, government has backed down on the controversial legislative instrument seeking to exempt MPs, ministers and judges from speed limits across the country. Those in favor of the law had argued that such public officials should not be caught in traffic in the performance of the official duties.
So on Friday, June 14, Speaker Bagbin, chairing proceedings in Parliament, oversaw the laying of the controversial legislative instrument that sought to allow fitting of sirens on specific classes of vehicles, including those owned by justices of the Supreme Court, members of Parliament, and ministers of state.
The minister writes to the committee, notifying the committee of the changes that have been made to the instrument.
An extensive commentary on the instrument at the expense of the transport minister, who was deputized in the chamber by Hassan Tampuli. The minority chief whip, Kwame Govins-Agboja, cautioned against the laying, urging for broader consultation to prevent public uproar on what has become a major anger from the public subsequently.
Mr. Speaker, one condition of laying something in this house is to say that sufficient copies are also available. As long as you are sure that as soon as Mr. Speaker directs that it be laid, members will get copies here, because I want to read a portion of the bill today.
Having satisfied the standing orders and procedures in Parliament, Speaker Bagbin approved the laying effective June 14, subjecting it to the mandatory 21 parliamentary sitting days.
Well, members, Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024 is accordingly laid and referred to the Subsidiary Legislation Committee for consideration and report to the House. The Committee on Transport could support the Committee of Subsidiary Legislation with whatever material they have in order to enrich the report that will be submitted to the House.
Anger and rage has come from the public subsequently on why Parliament is prioritizing the consideration of this legislation that will exempt them from the traffic regulations, allowing them to use sirens. The minority on Tuesday, July 16, issued a statement calling on government to withdraw the legislative instrument. With the increased public uproar, Speaker Bagbin denied knowledge of the legislation that he oversaw its laying on June 14.
I heard news that there's a bill in Parliament trying to give members of Parliament sirens and also no speed limit. This social media thing, there is nothing like that before Parliament. Director said no, they have not seen anything like that. I have the responsibility of admitting many of these things. Sometimes they may elude me, but I haven't seen any such bill. Then later on, I was told it was a regulation that Parliament was amending. We don't amend regulations. We don't have the power by the Constitution to amend regulations or instruments.
In a twist and turn of events on Tuesday, government had to budge to calls for an immediate withdrawal.
I like to move that the Road Traffic Amendment Regulation 2024, which was laid on the Friday, 14 June 2024, be withdrawn. Mr. Speaker, this has become necessary based on extensive engagement with leadership. It is so withdrawn, Mr. Speaker.
But there's a further caution from the minority.
Mr. Speaker, once the Minister of Trade is here, The LI that he laid on cement is also not, the public is not happy. We also come and withdraw yours as well. Come and withdraw the cement LI as well. Come and withdraw the cement LI as well.
Komla Kluche, TV3 News, Parliament House, Accra.
Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayaruga, says the political class has failed to provide better roads, infrastructure and efficient public transport system to the citizenry and should not be exempted from joining the vehicular traffic in the cities.
Speaker can justifiably deny knowledge of the LI because the practice in the past has been for LIs to go through what is called pre-laying consideration. Even before it is brought to the Speaker, the proponent of the LI, which is the minister, will normally approach the chairman of the committee. The chairman will convene the committee to review whatever the minister has brought as his proposals. Then they agree on a final version. It is that version that often goes to the Speaker after it has been completed. So the Speaker can justifiably say, I don't know about it because it hasn't come to him because of this practice of it being worked on before even coming to the Speaker. So I can defend the Speaker along those lines. Now, on the substance of the regulations, I can sympathize with the general public and the anger that has been expressed in response to this proposal, because those of us in the political class, ministers, deputy ministers, government officials, we are responsible for delivering to the public an effective and efficient public transport system. We have woefully failed in our responsibility to do that. And there's huge traffic in town. People are spending their meager salaries on fuel and diesel to transport themselves home. And instead of us concentrating on solving that problem for the public, we are seeking to exempt ourselves from this suffering that the members of the public, who are the taxpayers on whose back we are all being paid, we are seeking to exempt ourselves from that suffering. Let us all join the traffic. If it is difficult, then let's go and fix the problem.
Still in Parliament, the Speaker has referred the lithium mining agreement to the Committee of Lands and Natural Resources for consideration after government successfully laid it in Parliament. Alban Babing is, however, issuing a caution to members of the committee not to rush in its consideration, with an expresses instruction to also consult widely on the controversial subject.
I have been looking at that referral, and I've had discussions. And because of the critical nature of the subject matter, I proposed, and leadership accepted, that we should rather refer those agreements to the Lands and Natural Resources Committee, with the additional directive that 4 members from the leadership of each side of the House should assist in the deliberation of the committee. Honorable members, these are critical agreements that will have to be scrutinized seriously. I will not participate in the debate, but I will be very vigilant, because for some time now, I belong to the school of thought that believe that we have not benefited from the natural endowment that God has so much blessed this nation. Please, don't take this as business as usual. We are not urging you to present the report within any time. What I can only urge you on is to make sure that we complete it before the end of this term.
The minority in Parliament says they will on July 30 protest again to ensure the resignation of the governor of the Bank of Ghana, his deputies and the board. Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayaruga, says the management of the central bank should be held accountable for what he described as the mismanagement of the bank.
In October 2023, the minority embarked on a street protest demanding the resignation of the Bank of Ghana governor and his deputies. They accused the governor of spearheading the losses incurred. The minority also kicked against the construction of a new headquarters for the central bank. That demand was not achieved, and MP for Boko Central, Mahama Ayaruga, said the group will embark on another protest on July 30.
We are reliably informed that this head office building is being constructed at a price of about $250 million. The last time we cited procurement documents, the price had moved to about $222 million. We hear that a piece of land that used to host a clinic of the bank has been reassigned for the construction of the residence of the governor. And we asked him for the price of the duty post of the governor. And he just refused to provide the cost and referred us to go to Public Procurement Authority.
He maintains the governor, his deputies and the board have run down the central bank and must resign.
Given how they have run down the central bank, given how they have failed in terms of monetary policy, given how they have failed in terms of holding inflation, given how their failure in monetary policy, which has led to high interest rates, making it impossible for businesses to borrow and making it impossible for businesses to expand, we have taken a stand that the central bank management must be held accountable. We are marching back to the central bank to demand the resignation of the governor and his deputies and the board of the bank.
He said notice has been given to the police.
We have written to the regional police commander. We have indicated the route we want to use and the date we have given him, which is 30th of this month. And I have received an invitation from the regional police command for a meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon.
Let's move from Parliament now. The timely release of the 2024 BC results is likely to face a snag if government's indebtedness to the West African Examination Council, WAEC, continues. This is because the council is yet to receive the full complement of arrears owed them by government for onward distribution to examiners and others. The Ministry of Finance released 47.13 million Ghana cedis to WAEC, giving the council a lease of life towards the conduct of the just-ended Basic Education Certificate examination. But Head of Public Affairs at WAEC, John Kapi, says any further delay will affect the operation of the council.
So far, I think at the last meeting we held with the press, we indicated that we had received 55.8 million. So after the last time I had a discussion with the Director of Finance, this was the figure that was there. But then at the time also they had indicated that plans were far advanced to release some further funds to us. So probably a meeting with it, because of the exams, I've not had the opportunity to have a chat. But when I meet him, I'll probably be able to tell how much more has been paid to us and whether the entire figure, has been settled. But I think that looking at the nature of the job that we have to do, it will be much more convenient for us if we get all the funds available so that the marking exercise can go on smoothly. We wouldn't want a situation where examiners would, come in and demand payment before they start work or anything of the sort. But at least once you have the funds available, why not? When you go out there, you talk with a lot of conviction.
We focus on health now. What initially appeared like fatigue and malaria for Janet Kodier and her husband turned out to be dengue fever. Janet recounts their challenging recovery journey at the Brenase Polyclinic in the Achimansa district of the Eastern region. There's more.
She has spent days at Brenase Polyclinic undergoing rigorous treatment to combat the effects of dengue fever.
I ran a babs very 1 week. Na me to no. So when they corner, na be so me con. Me chi, me nice nyina me ya.
It's been a week since it started. I bought medication, but the bodily pains persisted, so I came to the hospital. The doctors said it was malaria and I was admitted.
Ebusiampeni Opoku Asire is also deeply involved in supporting his wife's recovery journey. He explained how the outbreak of Aedes mosquitoes has significantly impacted families, cocoa and other crop farmers as well.
My wife went to visit her family in a nearby village and later called me to complain about mosquito bite. My wife said she had to use insecticide. The excessive bite of mosquitoes gave her the fever. I am appealing for government support to combat the menace.
The increasing presence of Aedes mosquitoes poses a severe threat in the 5 agricultural districts with the dengue fever cases, potentially leading to food security crisis in the long term.
Mosquitoes bite us when we go to the farm, hence we cannot go to the farm. Our wives and children are also sick. Mosquitoes are disturbing us. We cannot even come to our farms, and when we do, we have to dress like this. Sometimes we cannot even work for 30 minutes. They are all over our farms.
The Achimansa District Chief Executive, Paul Asamoah, says educational efforts, fumigation and mass spraying exercises would be reinforced as immediate response measures.
We had to increase the spraying gangs to reach their various farms, especially where we received the initial report. So, as for this assembly, we have resumed fumigation exercise to control the spread. Whilst the head directors are also taking samples and doing their investigation and going ahead with treatment.
Surveillance efforts are still ongoing.
Government has deployed 2.1 billion cedis to support small and medium-scaled enterprises. This move, according to President Akufo-Addo, will support the growth of these enterprises to drive economic activity and bring Ghana closer to its growth potential of about 5%. He made this known at the launch of the SME Growth and Opportunity Summit held in Accra.
Small and medium-scaled enterprises constitute 92% of existing companies in Ghana and contribute 70% of GDP. Despite this, companies continue to face hurdles in growing and expanding, with barriers in access to finance, among other economic challenges. Through the SME Growth Program, government, through the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Trade and Industry, will address these prevalent concerns faced by SMEs in the country.
GEA, on the other hand, will be supported with some 230 million cedis and will target high-growth SMEs, employing 100 persons or more, with small-scale grants and loans of up to 2 years at highly subsidized rates. DBG will contribute to the initiative through its newly created MSME Innovate and Grow Fund.
The program includes comprehensive capacity building programs being implemented by the Finance Ministry together with government and the Ministry of Trade and Industry.
Ghana Exim Bank will set up a novel food innovation hub within the next 3 months to support all MSMEs in the food industry with testing and scaling up production in a standard food processing pilots plant.
On that note, we end the morning news here on TV3 with me, Godwin Asidiba. New Day continues shortly with Roland and Bella Mundi. Stay with us and have a good morning. Bye.